Hello. Been a while since I posted one of these. I kind of figured we weren't going to see anything new about our friend Three Eye Atlas here until about December 17th when it comes closest to the Earth, and we're going to have all these telescopes looking in that direction, and we'll get some new info. But I was very wrong. A lot has happened with Three Eye Atlas in between this one and last one. One which is like really cool, and I'm going to try to put some little pictures up around. And it's a theory that I like a lot. I didn't even think about it, but it makes perfect sense to me and probably many other people. But one thing that happens out on our outer planets, which are like way out there, on some of the moons, is they have what is called um, cryo cryovolcanic action, which are very cool. But they're volcanoes. But instead of emitting and ejecting hot boiling lava, it's ejecting water and ice and etc., which is instantly sublimating and going. But because of all the chemistry going on when it heats up, it just ejects whatever out, like water and stuff, and it ejects those out in a jet, a strong jet, which can account for a lot of things. Um, with those jets going off, cryovolcanic action going on, that can definitely give, our little friend here a push. And one other thing it's very well at doing, and it's been found to do, now that we've got still some more images coming in, is our little friend here. Woo! Okay, our little friend here is actually spinning like a football. Okay, so it's doing a twist as it's going through the air, and I'll post it up here. We finally got some images of the jets coming off of it, and as it spins through the air, it kind of looks like a spider. So like a center mass, and then the jet sticking out all the way around it. Spider. Excuse me. Cough button. Anyhow, that can also explain why it gets brighter at times, and then less bright, and then brighter again, is because if it's spinning like that and you're getting a jet, the jet will miss you, and then you get the jet right in your face, and then, it misses again. So that'd be, less bright, brighter, and then less bright again as it's spinning. Well, we'll say spinning rather than tumble. Tumble sounds, kind of like lack of control, and this thing's spinning like a dart. Of which, Three Eye Atlas is also a lot larger than we thought it was. And it's still going a lot faster than what they kind of predicted. So I mean, it's still going fast, but each time they recalculate how amount of ground it's covering with more information and more data, the faster this little bugger is going, and the larger it is. Which brings people to believe that this is probably, rather than your standard comet, because of its heavy density and its high metal qualities to it, or it's almost like a metal, almost like like a metal object flying through the air. It could have been, and I like this too. I don't know if you want to use the word protoplanet, but it could have been like a chunk of a moon, or like the crust of a planet that was forming, that for some unknown reason, some impact happened and just went off. So again, instead of it being a bunch of collections of smaller things that have clumped up like lint around the house, it's collecting little things and becoming what it was. If it began as a much larger object, like I said, like a chunk of a planet, or part of a moon, or something like that, which would explain a lot about how dense it is and how large it is compared to other comets that we've seen. So that's pretty cool too. So that's some good things. That's great. Now it's also in the tail, as we can see right here, when they're talking about some of the brightness coming off of it and the tail extending from the comet, but still glowing like crazy. Well, it could be because these particles, see here, as they come off of Three Eye Atlas, they're all cooking off. So they're going to be brighter, and they're being kind of slowly left behind the comet as it goes. But because of their size, it's still getting the mass of Three Eye Atlas pulling them along, and I'll say airflow, but the space behind 3i Atlas and where all the debris is falling, it got the sun pulling on it to some degree, so it's going a little bit that way. But you still have the mass of 3i Atlas flying along and pulling them with it. So it's kind of like, yeah, if you have an SUV, you ever notice how come the back window is always so much dirtier than all the rest of the windows? It's because that square end, as you're driving along, makes a pocket. And the dust and dirt goes right past your car, goes over you like your windshield, and then goes right over to that square end and it curls back. There's an air pocket right behind your car. Like here's your car. The wind flies over it and makes an air pocket here, and that's why all the dirt shows up on the back of your SUV. Yeah. Also, why you can, when you're driving in a truck and you throw something out the window, it goes right into the back of your cab. But I don't recommend people doing that because it looks, don't throw your beer cans out the window. Anyhow, it's also, and that remind me of it. It's like in NASCAR, when it's called drifting. No, it's drifting. It's called drifting. It's when the one car gets right on the butt end of the car in front of it and follows it around like you would, like it's trying to push it off the way. What it's doing is it's actually riding in that air pocket behind the car in front. So it's actually getting a little push, not a pull. Well, here on Earth, it's going to be the push of the air coming back around behind that pocket. But it's actually kind of pushing the car along. So he's getting better gas mileage than this guy. And when it comes to NASCAR, gas is the, you need your gas, and that's how you usually lose them. Most people lose as they run out of gas. But hang on a second. But again, that would do a great job on explaining the tail, the particles coming off it, the glow, and why, that explains a lot going on right there. Now, it's also been found that some of the components that can make DNA has been coming off of this, which is kind of cool. So people are kind of taking it a little too far and thinking of it as it's a wonderful term. It's called transpermia. Yeah, I know. But that's when an object like an asteroid or something with DNA particles and their elements fly over or crash into another object. The components, the DNA material, the elements that were in it, transfer to the planet that it hit or went right by or right through with its tail, and the elements of life would become life, follow their way to the planet, and now the planet was seeded by the comet or other object flying past it, so they call it transpermia. I don't think 3i Atlas is a giant sperm going through the air, to put it more crudely but more accurately. They're also concerned about one of the gases coming off of it is cyanide. So people have come up with this analogy that it's 3i Atlas is a farmer, but they don't know whether it's a good farmer planting seeds, or is it a farmer with the cyanide eliminating the weeds, in which case, we would be the weeds. Again, it's not too far away. Didn't come close enough to do anything like that. And two, that's a normal element to come off of, objects in space. I mean, we get all kinds of weird chemicals coming off of these things. And then, and again, this has come from, this isn't from our solar system. This thing has been floating around out in space, in deep space, deep space, for a long time. So who knows what crap it picked up as it was going along, So, it's an interstellar object, the third one we've ever seen. So, going back to that, we've only seen 3 of these, okay? Oumuamua, which was pretty cool. Again, I still like Oumuamua. And then we had, what was it? Bison. I just forgot the name of it. Anyhow, the one that burned up, which became, no, it didn't burn up. I'm sorry. That one was a a non-object. It didn't do anything fancy or fun. It was just like a normal asteroid, or not normal, a normal comet. It didn't do anything um, out of the usual. But okay. So again, we've had three of them. Two of them are like really cool, and one of them is absolutely cool and doing all kinds of weird shit, which is great. Which is great. Again, Avi Loeb's out there, and again, I'd love to talk to him, but he's still, saying, "Hey, consider everything," and he's getting a lot of flack for that. And I've said that before, and I've covered it before. But he's right in his line of thought. Do not immediately exclude something because you think it's too far out. Uh, you know, Sherlock Holmes. Once you've eliminated the impossible, what is left is most likely the possible. Um, anyhow, um, I'm just gonna have to wait again till not that far away, the 19th of December, 2025, and we'll get some more information on it. And again, I'm gonna put up some pictures up in here and post. Like again, one of them it's a black and white image that they caught of the jets coming off of it, and I can show you one, and then I'll do a slide and show you the other one, where I kind of drew in so you can see better the lines coming off of it, making it look like a spider, but it kind of better explains that it's spinning and lines coming off of it, jets coming off of it. Oh, thank goodness for my notes. The Juice Explorer, nice name. That's one the ESA sent out, and it's on its way to Jupiter, and it has managed to catch some images of 3i Atlas. However, its main guns, its main cameras and its path is still aimed towards Jupiter. So what they did manage to do is get a what they call it as a navigation camera, one that they use to kind of like look around and lock on a star, so you're going in the right direction and doing the right thing. They did manage to use one of those to kind of look over and catch 3i Atlas, but it's a low res. It's not a high res for observing things going on. It's low res to pick up stars and whatever they're using to measure where the probe is going and making sure it's on course. So I mean, it did get a glimpse of it. And again, some of the other cameras we have, telescopes, in space aren't really designed for a fastball going by. Okay, so it's used to trying to take a long look at it. So that's why a lot of these astronomers or amateur astronomers are coming up with a lot of better photos, is because they're taking the time. They're taking a lot of time, and they're being very cool about it. A couple of seconds. Again, like they take a picture in a plate, take a picture and they lay them on top of each other, so the main image will get more data, and you can fuzz out the crap. There was the radiation coming off of it. Minimal, if anything, and even then, the report, if you again back to the white papers and read everything, and it's emitting radiation. Well, it's so low, very 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 low. As in, they're not even sure if it's an aspect of the equipment looking at it. So if there was an error in calculations or a plus or minus in the equipment, so they're not even sure it really is off gassing. We wouldn't off gas X-rays, but anyhow, irradiation in the form that they're speaking of, nasty radiation, which does not cause anyone to glow green. That's just something they use in Hollywood that looks cool, and it's stuck. Actually, more like the goo from the Blob initially when Steve McQueen finds it. Actually, he doesn't find it. The other dude finds it and gets it all over his hand. But anyhow, yeah, so much for keeping this short. It's a long one, folks. Ramble on, Scott. Ramble on. Which, of course, means now we're towards the end of it, I do believe. Checking my little notes. See if I've covered the things I wanted to cover. Yeah, I think we did. I think that rounds it up. Okay, confirming its rotation, once every 16 hours, what matches up with the brightness and the closing. Bright and less bright, so That's getting redundant. So anyhow, I guess we'll wrap it up. And again, I'm going to post some pictures up over here as in the right places, and maybe even I'll sneak in a little video of a cryo volcano going boom with ice and everything coming off of it. Anyhow, we'll see what I can do in post. So we'll call it that. And so all you people out there, behave yourself, and may your God go with you. Servus, until next time. Push the button, Frank.